Hello and welcome to the World's Best Coaches podcast. This is a series where we are going around and interviewing the best of the best in the coaching world. And today I am with Stan Gwizdak, the CEO of the Kormac Group and also the best-selling author of Karmic Selling. Stan, welcome.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be here today, and Sam, I
Awesome.
appreciate it.
No problem, no problem. Well, look, Stan, I know that you obviously you've just launched your book in January. Is that what I read?
Yeah, January 16th.
Oh, amazing, amazing. And how long were you writing that book?
It took about a year and a couple of months from start to finish.
Awesome, awesome.
It's a labor of love for anybody thinking about writing a book.
Well, I will absolutely check it out. So you are
Thank you.
obviously the CEO of the Kormac Group. Now you have quite a few team members in there, I believe, from what I saw on your LinkedIn. Would you mind kind of giving me a little bit of introduction to you and the firm?
Sure, absolutely. So Stan Gwizdak, originally from PA, ex-corporate guy. So half of my career so far has been spent in the corporate world, anywhere from an engineer all the way up to president and CEO of publicly traded and privately held companies.
Yeah.
In 2005, started the beginning of the journey in management consulting and coaching, and have been on that journey ever since. And the firm that I founded and own today is called the Kormac Group. And the Kormac Group, we are a management consulting company, but we call ourselves execution guys. And the fact, what I mean by that is we roll up our sleeves, we work alongside with and partner with our client partners to get the results of whatever they need within their business.
Right. Awesome, awesome. So, you started many, many years ago in that lane. What really inspired you? Was that always a plan to get into this kind of line of work?
No, it was not. Very good question, Sam. It was more of one that I decided I was going to quit the corporate world after the universe sent me a sign. And I literally had a Mack truck pull out in front of me, and I went underneath the Mack truck.
Oh no.
So I consider that November 17th, 2004 is, I call that the best day of my life. And people would say, wait a minute, what's going on? Well, I was unhappy in the corporate world. I was looking for a way out.
Yeah.
The car wreck was the impetus of that. I looked at doing a bunch of different things, buying my own business, starting my own business, and net effect really decided that I liked the idea of trying management consulting and coaching and jumped into that in July of 2005 and have been on that journey ever since.
Wow, wow. And so, I mean, what a powerful story. I've met many coaches in my time, but that's got to be one of the most inspiring, I think, in that sense.
Thank
So,
you.
I mean, along the years, building the firm, you have, I think, twenty people that work in the firm now. So how has that journey been? How did that start? What were some of the hurdles that you kind of come across in that time? Because I'd be super interested to hear.
It's an interesting journey, and starting your own business is not a straightforward and linear path. It's one that's a very circuitous route as you go through it. As I look at it in the beginning, it was really three people in the firm. It was me, myself, and I, and the three of us didn't always get along together. So I would sell the work, I would do the work, I would follow up, and then rinse and repeat with a different client as well. And I realized that business model was very difficult to sustain because
Yeah.
while you're doing, you're not selling, and while you're selling, you're not doing. And it's a very cyclical income as well, up and down. So I realized I needed to partner with other people and bring other people into the firm. So over the course of many years, have brought in other people that I've known, that I've worked with, that I trusted. And actually for the Kormac Group, we have one rule, and our one rule is no assholes are allowed. No assholes from a client partner perspective, and none internally too.
Yeah.
And if you're found to be that, not a nice person, and I'll say that going forward, so I'm not cussing, but not a nice person, we will politely bow out and step aside and step away, either whether it's a client partner or any other else as well. But over the years, it was really in the beginning a bunch of trial and error of
Mm.
how to land the clients, how to do the work. And the work was very similar to what I was doing in the corporate world anyhow. But finding and getting the right people. And now that I feel that we have that within the Cormac Group, that sets a great foundation for us to continue to grow and
Mm.
expand from here going forward.
And do you guys work specifically within your city? Do you work internationally?
Sure, we actually work internationally. The majority of our work over the years, probably 90%, has been US or Americas based.
Okay.
However, we have gone globally and internationally as well for many of the work that we've done.
Amazing. And, expanding, bringing people into your team. We know it very well here. We've expanded quite massively in the past few years. It's a big step putting trust in people to, use your knowledge and your techniques and everything. And how difficult was that kind of translating that to people to use it?
What was really interesting for us is we can't create another army of Stan Gwizdaks. That's almost impossible.
Yeah.
But what we did create were people that had the fundamental capability, experience, background, and they were a nice person and pointed true north at what they wanted to do. Once we found them and it fit within our service offerings, those were the types of people that we brought into the firm. It's taken a long time. I
Yeah.
mean, we've been at it this the second time, May 2nd of 2014. We rebranded as the Kormac Group. So I call that kind of a second life from that point forward.
Yeah.
But with that, finding the right people, bringing them in, it's been since then until now of finding the team that we've got. And very blessed and very lucky to have the individuals we've got.
Wow. Awesome. So we've worked with coaches and consultants now for 10 years in the UK specifically, but a lot with the US and everything. But we come across a lot of misconceptions to do with the coaching industry quite a bit. The reception that people have around having a business coach and a consultant. What are your thoughts around that? And how do you convince the everyday kind of business owner to take on a mentor and a coach?
Yeah, very, very difficult actually. And it is a 100% trust relationship. And really kind of going at it from the consulting side, the person sitting on the other side of the table is typically somebody in the C-suite.
Yeah.
So they have hope and they have trust, and we're reaching our hand forward with a handful of trust, which you can't really see of, yeah, trust us, we can do this work.
Yeah.
It is a trusting gap that needs to be bridged for that person to agree to bring you in.
Yeah.
And once you have that trust, you need to make sure that you do what you say you're going to do. You always meet your commitments of on-time starts, on time of every of those other pieces. Or if you run into an issue, you communicate that very clearly up and down and across the organization. But with that, that initial hurdle of trust is the hardest thing, whether you're bringing in a consulting,
Yeah.
and that's the majority of our business, or bringing in a coach to support you as well.
Great, great. Awesome. That's fantastic. So obviously it's now 2024. You've got the year ahead of you guys. What is the plan for the Cormac Group in the future? Have you got any kind of big vision goals in mind?
As a matter of fact, we do.
Good.
Thank you for asking that question. 2023 was a banner year for Cormac and really was our best year ever on a number of different measures. What we want to do is take that basis and continue to build upon that going forward. So the vision for Cormac is bringing in other leaders and think about them as industry verticals. And you would ask the question, industry verticals. For us, it's the majority of our clients manufacture or make a product, multitude of different industries and multitude of being really industry agnostic. But we're going to bring in leaders within different sectors in automotive, in chemical, and actually even in private equity, because that's a little bit of a different play, even though they could play across different industries. We already have an individual in med tech, oil and gas, et cetera. So
Right.
building
Okay.
those industry verticals give us a specific push within those. And then we have our offerings that go across from a horizontal perspective as well. But
Amazing.
that's the plan for Cormac 2024 and beyond.
Well, that's really interesting. It's the first firm that I've met that's doing that kind of vertical approach. That's really, really cool. So when you're going through your hiring process, do you plan ahead? Do you think, okay, we're going to target this industry next? We need to go and find the specialist in that industry?
Yes, 100%. And what it's actually kind of the opposite. What we do is find the specialists in the industry. And today I'm the generalist that goes across all of those different sectors today. So
Mm.
my part in the firm will start stepping away from being in any particular vertical, but more being leading the entire company as well. But what we do is find the right person that has the industry knowledge, the background, the capability, and as I mentioned earlier, is a good fit from a personality perspective and is a good person to lead those sectors. We find that person, and then we build the market, we build the industry, we build the capabilities around that person with them, as I call them, the point of the pencil looking forward.
Right. No, I've been hearing about a bit of a recruitment crisis now, especially in the UK and in Germany, there is a major problem right now finding people. Is that the same case in your space in the US?
In the US in general, yes. Many companies are struggling finding people that want to join their company, be a part of the firm, etc. Right now, for Kormac, that is not the case. For whatever reason, I think the consulting space is small enough that people hear about us in many different formats, and they realize that we are what we say we are, that we treat our people very well, we pay our people very well, and we are good people at heart as well. People want to join that. So for us at this point, we're more from a capacity constraint. We're saying, hold off. We've got you. We do want you in the firm. We've either got to find the right project to fit you on if you're one of the people that's a vertical going across that understands a specific thing, or somebody to lead a sector. We're like, hold off. We're coming to you, but we don't want to start 10 different uh, vertical sectors at one time, because
Of
then we
course.
wouldn't be able to do the focus and we wouldn't do it justice. So for Cormac, right now, not a problem finding people. We've got more people than we can actually put to work at the moment. And I
That's
think
fun.
it's because of who we are
Yeah.
and how we're portraying ourselves in the market, and quite frankly, how we truly are.
Wow. Really interesting. Now, in terms of marketing, the big M, we've had the privilege of marketing different firms over the years, and we've come into many different challenges. But I'm interested to hear, what is your main source of marketing? What's your main strategy that you guys use now that's kind of your powerhouse?
Yeah, it's an interesting piece. The book is an area for us from a Cormac perspective to think about the sales funnel for Cormac, and marketing is on top of that sales funnel.
Yeah.
Book is one to get customers to us that realize, hey, they say they're good people. Oh, hey, the book is a testimonial to that, and this
Yeah.
is how they truly work. So that's one from a marketing perspective. The other strategies is actually putting thought leadership out into the marketplace and actually giving away the answers into different things, or providing thought-provoking pieces. We may see something in Harvard Business Review, et cetera. The majority of our marketing today is actually not via through podcast, although we should be thinking about that, Sam. The majority of the marketing we do today is actually all through post of some sort, post on LinkedIn,
Yeah.
post on our website, industry articles that get published in different pieces, or partnering with industry specific people. For example, MedTech, we partnered with a firm that really markets and goes to market through the MedTech community of providing value. We're seen as one of those resources to provide value within their network.
Wow. Okay. Well, I mean, there's unlimited things that people can do nowadays. And, if you were to give any advice to a small coaching firm, three or four
Sure.
people that are kind of starting their journey, what kind of advice would you give them now in their early days?
I think the biggest thing is being authentic to yourself. Specifically in the early days, when I look back, I hired clients, or I let clients hire me, that really were not a good fit.
Right.
And good fit from a cultural perspective. They weren't nice people, and you kind
Yeah.
of had to deal with it. I think staying authentic to yourself and actually having something important to say, standing out from other people, standing away and being different, I think is a very valuable tool, whether you're a coach or a management consultant, because the world is flooded with coaches. The world is
Yeah.
flooded with consultants. There's a ton of us out there in the world today. So I think maintaining your strong core, being authentic to who you are and what you're wanting to offer, that's going to be the most important thing. And then also you need to have the capability and the all of the stuff behind you as well.
Absolutely. Well, it's kind of a follow-on question from that, but we're very, very passionate here about young entrepreneurship, young people getting into business, taking that leap. Because, nowadays, I mean, I don't know about you in America, but, schools aren't teaching enough about entrepreneurship, business ownership.
True.
If you could give one piece of advice to an 18-year-old that's got the entrepreneurial seizure,
Yeah.
what would it be for them right now? Go for it or,
But if I could go back and go to my 18-year-old self, I would say go for it.
Awesome.
And at a young age, I took a different path. I started down the corporate world and I was 38 before I quit and started my own thing. I'm extremely proud of my daughter. She did the college, she went to work for a company, and in about 2 years, she said, I'm done. And she started her own thing.
Awesome.
Not easy. It's not as I said, not a straightforward path. However, the learnings you get by going through that, whether you're successful or even if you fail, when you're young and fail, it doesn't, you don't have as much pressure on you. So why not do it then?
Mm,
And you may have one or two failures before you hit success. Ideally, you hit the one and that's it. But even what I started in my vision in July of 2005 of what I was going to do is completely different than sitting here in April of 2024.
of course, yeah.
So my whole thing is do it. Second thing, for anybody that's listening to this piece, if you buy my book, get it cheap as a Kindle, not trying to make money off of anybody here, read the last sentence in my book twice and call me. My last sentence to give it away is, how can I help you? I am passionate. My second half of my life, Sam, is all about helping and giving away the answer to not only the younger generation, but to CEOs that are struggling and other people as well. There's many people in my life that I've given away a ton of stuff. And I'll be honest, it's given me more than they've gotten on the back end.
Absolutely.
So read it twice, reach out to me. I can't hide with my last name. I can't hide. I think I'm the only Stan Gwizdak on LinkedIn.
Amazing, amazing. Well, that's fantastic. So obviously you have your own book. I'm gonna make sure that people get forwarded the book and go and
Sure.
check it out as they should.
Sure.
Is there another book that you have that's kind of like your holy Bible? What kind of inspired you in that sense to write your own?
100%. And it's actually not the one that inspired me to write my own book. It's the one that inspired me to quit the corporate world and start my own thing after my car wreck. And I believe the universe was talking to me. I was listening to, and this is when you could listen to a book on CD.
Yeah, yeah,
So it was November 17th, 2004. Again, I was listening to the book by Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
yes.
And
Yeah.
yeah, great book. And it talks about to that young 18-year-old, read the book because I don't want to give away the secret of the book, but the book was I was looking for an answer out, and that's what I was listening to during my car wreck. And when I woke up, I said, okay, I'm done. I don't know what the answer is, but I'm going to go do something else.
Well, that was actually the first business book I read when I was
Ah,
16. And
I
it was also the first book that my brother read in terms of the business educational books in that sense.
nice.
He actually worked with Robert Kiyosaki. So he used to go on his tours and help him out on stage and do all those things with him. So
Well,
it
that's him.
yeah, as like an internship style thing to just go and listen and learn. And he
Yeah.
quickly got the entrepreneurial spark from that, which obviously began our firm today. I then kind of was a little bit of a late bloomer, but I went
Yeah,
and did my own entrepreneurial thing for a few years, and then we come back together now. So it's like it's such a powerful thing. Yeah.
it is. Well, I'm glad that I hit a book that's personal both to you and your brother, and congrats to your brother. And Sam, congrats to you on now coming in and partnering with your brother as well. That's
Thanks.
exciting.
It is really exciting. My dad is a business coach as well. So from a
That's
very early age, we had that somebody there, feeding us the information, why don't you why don't you think about this? And it was always giving us alternative options he was inspiring us to maybe go in a different way than society was kind of pushing you towards. So yeah.
that's outstanding.
Awesome. So, well, that's about it in terms of my questions. I mean, it's been really great to kind of meet you and have a chat with you today. And I'm sure that everyone will be taking away something, from this. But yeah, everyone needs to go and check out your book. Firstly, I will be putting a link in the kind of YouTube video as well as on the post on LinkedIn. But thank you so much for coming on, Stan. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sam.